also the second part of the duodenum, and just below the head, it goes into now the third part of the duodenum. Okay. And we may encounter in some of these slides the pancreatic duct, we may see the bile duct, and in fact we may end up seeing the ampulla or beta. Alright? So there we see a beautiful slide now of the duodenum. So we see the tall villi here, right here once again. Alright, looking at it under low power. So when you look on it under the microscope, we're going to look at it at low power, and we see now the Brunner's gland. Alright? So when you look and see, we see the hepatopancreatic duct. There. Okay, so this is a very nice slide right here. Beautiful slide right here. And there we see the hepatopancreatic duct. Okay? So the bile duct, as you know, has its major portions, a supraduodenal portion or intraligamentous, a retroduodenal part, a retropancreatic part, and then an intraneural part. And what we were finding basically is that the bile duct now is to be joined by the what? The pancreatic duct. The form. And it looks very much like, just we'll say this is the ampulla, the ampulla, alright? And there we can see the smooth muscle surrounding it, alright? So that's what is known as the sphincter of Oddi. Okay? So the smooth muscle that's going to be surrounding this sphincter here. So this is going to be opening by, as you know, the major duodenal papilla. Okay? So there'll be a major duodenal papilla. Right here, what we're seeing, I would think, is more just the ampulla of beta. Alright? Just the large, where the bile duct is now meeting the main pancreatic duct. But when we do the biliary system, we'll do this in far more detail. But a very interesting slide, because it's showing a lot of gross anatomy here. And there we can see, as I said, the pancreas beside. It's mainly serous-looking gland. Alright? And what we also observe is that there are not many islets, well, not too many islets. I don't really see, just glancing around here, any real islet tissue. But that's another story for later on. Alright? So there you see a beautiful slide of the duodenum. Note the outermost covering we said is primarily adventitia. We may get some serosa. Okay? But the glands are very copious here. Now let's look and see. There's a slide here I have marked pyloroduodenal junction. Let's look at that slide, pyloroduodenal junction. Alright. So just at the commencement of the duodenum, we're not going to see these Brunner's glands take a little time to appear. We're not going to see them immediately. Let's trace this slide and look at it here. Alright. So just here again, you can see them just coming right into play right here. Just there. Yeah. And look, alright, right. So there we can see just at this junction here. And what we'll always find is that all these junctional tissues, we usually see some lymphatics. Very, very strange, but at a lot of these junctional areas, we tend to see lymphatics. And there we see a large lymph nodule right here. So we didn't expect, and there we can see Brunner's glands coming into play. Those are the Brunner's glands. So right here, and what do we see? That the smooth muscle is very, very enlarged. Okay? There you can see the smooth muscle. When we trace the smooth muscle there, look at the diameter here. That's in the pylorus of the stomach. And we come down and we suddenly see that this smooth muscle is becoming very, very, very enlarged. See, that's the longitudinal layer right out here. Let me just put this here. That's the longitudinal layer right here. Okay? So that's a bit of ganglion tissue. And we'd expect to find a lot of ganglion tissue right here, okay? Because the sphincter, obviously this is an area, the pyloroduodenum, this is the sphincter, so it's going to be receiving a rich autonomic innervation, alright? For relaxation of that sphincter, then we're going to have vagal fibers coming here, and these vagal fibers will be synapsing preganglionic fibers, the nerve of Lafergier fibers. These will be synapsing here on the oromax plexus. So this is quite an interesting thing now to see autonomic tissue associated here with the pylorus. Okay? So that's the pylorus right here, and you can see the disproportion between the longitudinal layer and the inner circular layer. And on the cadaver, in the lab, you should be able now to feel this very, very thick layer of smooth muscle. Okay? Alright. So that's the pyloric sphincter. Right? And it's described that the pyloric canal basically is the lumen of this area with the pyloric sphincter. Prior to that, we get the pyloric antrum. Okay? So there we can see. Sometimes also we may make out some of the mycinus plexus in the submucosa here, but we're not seeing it very clearly. Now let's go back to what we're at here, and right at that junction here, right here, we're seeing lymphoid tissue. Note that we don't see any goblet cells. There are no goblet cells along this portion right here. No goblet cells right here. But as we move in now to the duodenum, so right here, that is right now at the pyloroduodenal junction. Lymphoid tissue sometimes just indicating this junction. And now we're moved in and we're seeing now the presence of goblet cells right here. Okay? So there are your beautiful goblet cells. Okay? So this is a classic pyloroduodenal junction. There is a muscularis mucosae right here. Very well developed muscularis mucosae. And we can trace it now right into the duodenum. Okay? There are the crypts of Lieberkuhn right here. And at the base of the crypts of Lieberkuhn, notice the staining reaction. There's a different type of staining reaction. And this staining reaction has to do with the Paneth cells. Okay? They are attached to zinc. They seem to have some role in the whole role of zinc in the body. Alright? If the physiologists will speak to you a lot in the biochemistry about Paneth cells and zinc and that sort of stuff. But there you can see, very, very interestingly, the intense staining of these cells right at the base of Lieberkuhn. Also, there's some sort of stem-type cells. Obviously, this is where the cells are going to proliferate from to repopulate the gland. So as some of the cells are going to be dying off in the crypt of Lieberkuhn, this is where the proliferation is going to occur, from the base. So that's the muscularis mucosae. And as I said, sometimes you can see some strands of smooth muscle, which we're seeing right here, which are strands of smooth muscle going right up into the villi. Okay? Now at the base of the villi also will open the Brunner's glands. Okay? And there we see these mucus-type glands. These are your Brunner's glands. Okay? Very prominent right here. Lots of Brunner's glands, lots of Brunner's glands. That is now the inner circular layer, much smaller, and this is the mesenteric plexus. And there we can see, very interesting, there is a little arteriole. That's a small arteriole that is just now piercing and going right into the muscle. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright? These are really fantastic. Alright, so these now are your ganglion cells. These are post-ganglionic cell bodies. Okay? Post-ganglionic cell bodies here that we're looking at. Okay? So these are all in and beautiful. This is a lovely orovax plexus. Mycinus plexus is much more difficult to see. Okay? But there you can see very, very nicely. Alright. Okay, let's just look at one or two other slides. I don't know, I just picked up this slide here.